It's dads or anyone special in your life, as this sale will not be repeated. 66 years in the making. Visit Hogan's Jewelers before the sale ends June 30th.
Hey barbecue fans, this is Ian Murphy from the Iron Pig Smokehouse in downtown Galen. We've got a brand new menu for you to try. All our classic favorites plus a few new additions like egg rolls, smoked whitefish wontons, Texas Twinkies, pot stickers, and more. We're open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner at 11 a.m. and serve breakfast Saturday and Sunday beginning at 9 a.m. Visit ironpigsmoke.com for all the current happenings, including live music, karaoke, and open mic. And don't forget to risk it for the brisket.
Morning, Northern Michigan, and welcome to Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by TVC Cherry Capital Airport. Jerry Coyne live in studio with Rich Calkins. And Rich, you know, we had wonderful baseball so far this year. At least, you know, we knew the Yankees would be tough.
Yes.
But the Tigers managed to bounce back and take 2 out of 3 from the Diamondbacks. After kind of a rough series at home before that, where we thought that they'd be able to get some wins versus the Marlins, and who did they play as well in that series? But things have kind of we had a couple of good days of hitting in Arizona,
right?
But then we saw how good this Royals baseball team is. What a bounce back they're making. They lost 106 games last year.
And they right now, I mean, in that series against the Tigers, they looked almost unbeatable. I mean, it was pretty incredible for the pitching that they got by the Royals and the hitting. And we were talking off air before the start of the show how their catcher, Salvatore Perez, has been doing. He's been there 13, 15 years as a Royal, and how much bigger he looks
Oh,
now.
my God. Unbelievable. The guy looks like the Hulk. I mean, he looks like he could eat Barry Bonds. Are we still testing for steroids?
I don't know. I don't know, because they absolutely, and he looks like such a better hitter before. And look, I mean, before you could strike him out on a regular basis, but now it's just like the guy, and all of them, Bobby Witt Jr., their shortstop.
Well, everybody has been talking about that kid since, I think he was the number 1 or number 2 draft pick like 5 years ago. His dad was an excellent baseball player.
He was, and he's only 23 still.
Right.
And he's playing this well right now. I mean, he does it all. I mean, you saw him on the base paths and thing. I mean, he'll steal in a moment's notice. He's an excellent glove at shortstop, got a good arm, and he's hitting the leather off the ball.
They're pitching very, very well. They took a huge advantage of have a couple of down years after winning the World Series. What is it? Just about 10 years ago now.
Yeah, somewhere, yeah.
And it's kind of depressing to see that and see how we've been mired in some things. It looked like Torkelson was making a little bit of a comeback.
Yep.
And Baez hitting the ball a little bit.
Right. No, Javi Baez has not been the issue with the Tigers this year. Has not. I mean, much to the demise of some people that just want to continue to pile on the guy and all that. The guy has come through with some clutch hits at times in key moments in some of these Tiger wins.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's hard to really determine. You know, every baseball team has slumps.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is a slump. Kind of hoping the Blue Jays are not playing great baseball. Right. I'm like, okay, Flaherty's pitched really good.
He has.
So I on my bet of the day that I give out every afternoon, I like the Tigers to win last night. They got beat pretty good.
They did, and like you said, the bats have kind of gone dormant again. You know, that series.
Even Riley Green is not hitting right now.
Yeah, I mean, 2 or 3 weeks ago, the guy was hitting great, and the national media people were taking notice of Riley Green. Mm-hmm. He was getting articles written about him, and then since that time, that was a kiss of death, because since that time, he just totally went in the tank.
Well,
they got outscored 26-9, JC, in that 3-game series at KC. You know, and it's just like you said, it was really, I thought it was going to be a good measuring stick of this Tiger team, because Kansas.
Maybe I hope it wasn't a measuring stick.
I hope not either. I hope just all of a sudden, you know, KC goes through their slump and the Tigers uplift themselves, but man, they just could not come through. And the pitching that had been so good during, prior to that series just really did not show up at all.
Yeah, it is. It's a little depressing. We've been I love Tiger baseball.
I do too.
I might really like it better than any other of our sports. I had a nice little Tiger season package for the last dozen years I lived in Detroit before we moved up here. And I had 6 rows behind home plate. We had 4 seats. It was great.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then we moved out of there, and we were just behind the dugout. So sitting down close and going to a dozen Tiger games a year, I just love the whole experience.
Yeah, in the history of the Tigers too, they have real history of success.
Yeah.
And everything about, and listening to games on the radio up north here that I did for years, listening to Ernie Harwell and all of that. There's just such tradition with the Tigers that growing up, and it just was, I've been a Tigers fan since I can remember. And I just really, I've been optimistic about this team. I thought going into the season they'd be an 85-win team. And they still have time.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it.
It's a long season, but again, really got to consistently for the last couple of years, Tigers hitting has been an issue. We've switched up hitting coaches. We've done things like that. Now we have like 3 of them on staff. And so but again, for some reason right now, we're just not getting the effect that we need to on a consistent basis. Now, they'll come up and they'll score 10 runs tonight or something. You're like, all right, things are good. But then, the lack of consistently getting hitting.
Yeah, I don't think the hitting has been awful. It's, I don't know how many hits they had yesterday, but they're just the bigger issue for the Tigers in the last decade or so has been plating runners in scoring position.
Yeah. That's one of the key. Every night I'll look at a box score. If I watch or listen to most every game, parts of it for sure, and I always do look at that stat, left on base. You know what I mean? I always check that out in the box score. And when you a lot of times have double-digit dudes left on base,
yeah,
it's just like, we're just not, like you said, give me timely hitting over hitting in general. I'll take that timely hitting all day long.
Yeah, I don't know how many hits they had yesterday. Here's the box score here. They only had 5 hits, so that's tough. I mean, and they gave up 13.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
that is not going to win you many ball games.
No, it's not.
No.
Right now, looking at how they compare league-wise, all of that. Right now, their ERA is 11th overall in Major League Baseball. That's gone up.
No,
They were in the top 10 for a long time.
No doubt about it. But the Royals kind of dented that
sure
ERA.
Did. Yes.
I mean, they even beat Skubal.
Yeah. And the left-hander that was facing this Reagan kid, I hadn't heard much about him, but they kept singing his praises.
Yeah.
He was impressive, that kid.
Well, all 3 starters that the Royals presented to us were pretty impressive. And, Olsen has been really good. He gets knocked out of the game.
He did.
Casey Mize, who's
shelled.
Yeah. Mize hasn't gotten shelled.
No, it hasn't.
But right now, we'll see if the Royals can maintain this. But they are a hitting machine at this moment in time. I was kind of watching when we were taking care of the Diamondbacks. I was looking at the scores, and the Royals swept the series before the Tigers came into town, and I'm like, they're getting hot.
Right.
Doing a little division watching, like the Twins had been playing really good baseball, but then they lost 8 in a row. And Cleveland has just been a huss.
I know. They're just Cleveland's 9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah.
KC's 8-2 in their last. Both of them have 6-game winning streaks, and it's just like, look, this AL Central that people always poo-pooed because it's a weak division and stuff. And certainly not at the beginning of this year.
Well, and the crazy thing is who did the Indians lost their ace?
Yeah, exactly. Bieber.
Yeah.
They traded him away, right?
No. Whoever the ace of their staff was got injured, at the end of April. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's the end of
Okay.
Cleveland. And I have to look it up.
They just continuously bring in guys from their AAA affiliate.
And I
they
don't know why we're
step
calling
right
them the Indians, because they're
Oh,
the
yeah. It's still, yes, yeah.
Hey,
The Guardians.
hey,
yeah.
Joe, how you doing? My son Joe is traditionally calls the sports show. Say hi to Rich,
Hello,
Joe.
Joe. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing, Rich?
Good. Yeah, all right, all right.
Go to Up North Sports Radio on Facebook, Joe, and you can watch the show. I'll get back to you in a little bit. All right. There you go.
That's good. Hey, it's Memorial Day weekend. You got to, touch base with Joe. And
Shout out to Keith Gave.
right, yes. Exactly.
But
no, I mean, right now with
the
Cleveland,
Guardians have the second best record in the American League.
Yeah, 33-17.
Yeah.
I mean, and nip it right on their heels, KC at 32-19.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, and Minnesota's 3 games above 500. And the Tigers were right there with them, playing with that 500 mark. We were above it in April, but we're on a 5-game losing streak, and now we're 4 games under 500 at 23-27. So it's just been a little disappointing the past week or so, but I'm really hoping that things could get turned around here on this holiday weekend.
God, from your mouth to God's ears, like
Right.
you said, yeah. Carlos Carrasco is on the 15-day DL, and who else? There was another guy that I can't remember that I thought he was out for the year, but anyways,
But they
good for the
just-
Guardians, and I don't know when we don't play any of our division rivals until late in July or August now, so hopefully we see some improvement. They brought up Perez, and he was hitting the ball really well for a little bit.
Wenzel Perez,
Yeah.
switch hitter.
Yeah.
He's got a little speed to him, and he's usually a shortstop by trade.
Yep.
But they've been moving just to get his bat in the lineup. They've been playing him in the outfield, so he's learning on the fly. But no, I like that young kid and what he has done for sure.
But there doesn't appear to be any quick fixes down in Toledo for the Tigers and their hitting.
No, that's and you mentioned that, JC. I happened to pull up Tigers have 3 prospects in ESPN's top 50 right now. And but they're guys a pitcher, Jackson Jobe, a kid that hit triple figures pitching wise, over 100 miles an hour down at Lakeland.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a kid right now that's still at Double-A, and he's coming off a little bit of a hamstring issue, so he's not pitching right now, but expects to get back out there. The young kid Max Clark is another kid, but he's young. He's still,
super young, and he's not even in Toledo.
No,
he's in
Double-A.
A.
He's way down at right,
single A, right.
But this guy that also is down as single A is this McGonigal kid that is a shortstop. He's hitting 329 right now. Another draft pick or an early round draft pick from a year ago. So there's, but again,
No, I
like
saw
you
Lynn
said-
Henning was writing about that kid.
Okay, yeah.
And has a lot of good things to say about the McGonigal kid.
Yeah.
I think he's hitting like 330 or something.
He is, yep.
And he plays really good defensive shortstop. It's not like Kurt Gibson or Lance Parrish is ready to come out of Toledo
No.
and rescue a lineup that could use look at. We talked about this before the season started, and obviously J.D. Martinez would not have been the answer. Right. He's hurt. I don't even think he's playing right now. For who picked him up? I can't remember. Was it the Red Sox? It might have been.
Yeah, one of those either him or the Mets or so. It was an East Coast team though.
Yeah.
I think that picked him up. Yeah.
But so that would have not been the fix. The fix may have been the kid that we've been talking about for weeks that the Marlins traded to the Padres. Arraza, yeah. But yeah, the Tigers are just going to have to play better baseball.
They are. And they're relying on younger guys to come through, and the younger guys need to come through. I mean, I consider the whole Riley Greens, the Spencer Torkelsons, all of those guys, they need to start coming through big time for sure.
Yeah, Veerling, Carpenter had
Yeah.
been pitching it. I mean, when they were winning these one-run games, at one point in time, they had won 8 out of 12 one-run games because of timely hitting
Yes.
and really good pitching and good relief pitching. Right now, that's not happening. So, come on, AJ.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, work your magic right now. He was getting a little testy with some of the media also the other day because they asked about the lack of competitiveness against the Royals, and he's called out I can't remember who the guy was, but he said, I take offense to that. And he said, I thought we were competitive, even though the scores showed differently. And he went into detail of all that. So,
Well, he's a detailed guy.
Very detailed guy. You better be careful.
I don't
of
think
some
you're
of
going
the
to.
questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you're going to outfox
No.
AJ Hinch.
You better make sure you know what you're talking. When you ask him a question, a direct question like that about lack of competitiveness, because it's going to come back at you.
Yeah, well, and we've seen this. We'll talk about it in our next couple of episodes here, but a lot of coaches have been calling out, especially in the NBA playoffs.
Yes.
There's teams competitiveness. So I like it when AJ's like,
Right.
We may have lost 8-3, but we played our butts off.
Right.
Yeah. So good for them tonight. The Tigers are going to turn it around.
That's right.
With Matt Manning, who's pitched really well, he was the last guy to not make the team.
Yeah.
But he's
really the sixth starter.
yeah,
per se, because
they bring him up from Toledo whenever there's a little bit of an issue,
Right.
double headers and things like that. And in the games that he's pitched really well.
And Maeda got hurt, so they brought him up, so he's been able to stay up
Yeah.
here for a few weeks.
So against Alek Manoah, who was a huge free agent a couple years ago, he hasn't been as good as the Blue Jays have advertised. But a big weekend for baseball, of course. If you're not going to make it down to Comerica Park, every game is available for free on Up North Sports Radio right here, 101.1, especially with all this Bally's boo-ha that you can't even see them on TV.
Well, yeah, see, my cable, I still have them on my cable package, but it's the Metro Detroit area that is not getting it because they have Xfinity. And so that's the big, they got recently taken off, and they're all complaining about that.
Oh, it's been great for the ticket.
Yeah, right, it has been.
We'll be back after these words from our fine partners on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Faceoff, brought to us by TVC Cherry Capital Airport. It's time for Destination.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination, a place to breathe in the lapping waves of Torch Lake and explore the tree-lined trails of northern Michigan. A place to connect with nature and each other, one-on-one, in the waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. When you're looking to escape the everyday, breathe in the magic of northern Michigan at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
It's time to fly. Start your next comfortable, convenient journey from Northern Michigan's hometown airport, Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City. TVC makes your trip easier with affordable terminal-adjacent parking and all the friendly airport services without all the crowds. Fly from Cherry Capital Airport to your dream destination on Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United. Visit tvcairport.com and fly with TVC. Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City. If you're a homeowner 62 or older and would like to find out if a reverse mortgage could give you a more secure, comfortable retirement, call Kristen Alderman with the Reverse Mortgage Center in Gaylord, 989-858-0565. Come to a free question and answer session at the Gaylord Library Thursday, May 30th from 2 to 4. Call Reverse Mortgage Center to RSVP 989-858-0565. NMLS number 2572985 and 2069141. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hi, this is Bill Hobson inviting you to join me for Michigan Golf Live this Saturday as we broadcast from the spectacular Black Lake Golf Club in Onaway. We'll also look back at the dramatic week that was the PGA Championship and give you a chance to win a really cool stay and play package to the Reese Jones Masterpiece at Black Lake. Join us for Michigan Golf Live. Saturday morning from 7 to 9 on WGRY 101.1 FM Up North Sports Radio.
Welcome back to Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by TVC Cherry Capital Airport. It's time for Destination MLB with Kevin Klein, the director at Cherry Capital Airport. Kevin, we need to get away and see the Tigers because they're in a little bit of a slump now, and we need to break that slump.
You're absolutely right. We need to get those bats swinging. Our batting average for the team is like 230. We got to get something going, and the way to do it is to go on the road and cheer these guys on.
Absolutely.
And,
be the old slump buster.
Yeah, for sure. Get the rally caps going. And, you know, when you're coming up that Boston series, remember we talked about a month ago if you were to plan, that was around $300. Today it's around $500. But it's still, if you're going last minute, less than a week away planning that trip, it's a way to get out to Boston. Great opportunity. When you're looking at Texas here, just after that, it's around $400. LA at the end of the month, it's around $425, so some good prices there. But you're still looking that first week in July at the Twins game at $118 round trip. So we've got some good fares out there to go see these boys play, and I think it's the way to get these bats swinging.
Speaking of Boston, did the Avello flight open up yet, Kev?
That Velo flight starts June 15th. They'll fly in the New Haven, and those fares are around that $65. And so, later on maybe for the schedule there. But, Velo, they're our sixth airline, getting us our 20th nonstop.
Okay, so June 15th. So I'm going to have to wait till the middle of June before I can fly out there and get that lobster roll that we've been talking about.
Well, and, when you look at the L.A. flights, too, though, we talked about that a little bit.
Uh-huh.
L.A., when you travel on the holiday, it drops at almost $200. So, when you're really looking out doing West Coast things, the way to do is shop on different times, whether it's the holidays, the weekends, and off days like Tuesday and Wednesday. They give you great fares. So that's what it's all about, shopping to find the best fares. But at this time, we're in full swing. All our nonstops are starting to kick off to Denver and New York. All that's happening at Cherry Capital Airport.
Yeah, and if you're planning, a summer trip, even abroad, it's just one flight from Cherry Capital Airport to Chicago or Atlanta, and boom, you can be in Italy or anywhere else in Europe.
Absolutely. Your Northern Michigan connection is TVC.
All right, Kevin Klein from Cherry Capital Airport. Thanks for bringing us up to steam on Destination MLB.
Thank you.
All right. There you go, Rich.
Yep, love Kevin. Does a great job over there in Traverse City for sure.
The location of our new studios.
Yeah, that's great.
In fact, I'll be at the airport this weekend. I got to move some stuff out of the where we were broadcasting from in at the Commons into and finish building out the studios. But Jabo's already been broadcasting from Cherry Capital Airport. We love it.
That's great. Now, what a great partnership for sure. No doubt. To be able to have that with Traverse City, like you said, Cherry Capital Airport, TVC, and Kevin Klein, of course, getting to know him as his son played JV basketball for the Traverse City West Titans, and so getting to know him here the last couple of years, good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Very enthusiastic, and the airport's never been busier or more popular. So
no question.
And so easy in, easy out.
My daughter from Texas is flying in there in a couple of weeks.
Okay. We mentioned briefly the NBA playoffs, man. I've discussed this ad nauseum for years that when I talk to people about sports, everybody says they don't like the NBA. Well, they're not watching.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, certain things about the NBA drive them crazy. Like, say, for instance, the Cleveland Cavaliers coach just getting fired after getting the team to the playoffs, a team that really hadn't done much in years. He finally gets them to the playoffs, and maybe because of a star player that doesn't like him, boom, they get booted quickly. And I know that's the history of the NBA. That's what happens.
I mean, it's been going on since Magic Johnson got
Right.
Paul Westhead fired.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but coaching, in very rare instances, superstars are way more important than coaches.
No question.
I mean, you've got Spoelstra down in Miami, and you got Popovich in San Antonio, but I don't think anybody else would count a coach as more important than anything else going on. It looks like the Pistons are going to hire a new president of basketball operations, Trajan Langdon, who's been working for the New Orleans Pelicans, who turned that around down there.
Former Duke player?
Yep. So I don't think it's been inked, but it looks like that's a foregone conclusion. But I'm just talking about how hard these NBA players are playing in the playoffs.
Yeah. And
that Dallas and Minnesota game, they're playing again tonight.
Yeah.
The game that they played on Wednesday was compelling, great basketball to watch.
Yeah. That first game of Indiana-Boston, Indiana had that game. Yeah. They should have won it.
They should have won it.
They just couldn't. Their inexperience really showed through in the last minute of play. They couldn't inbound the ball.
Nope.
They couldn't. I mean, just little things like that just all of a sudden they were able to snatch.
No, they snatched the victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah, it just was unbelievable. Just like it was heartbreaking. It has showed to me again. This Boston team is such a yo-yo team.
Well, they got a lot of talent. You know, what most observers think about Boston is they don't have any fiery leadership.
Yeah, they don't.
You know, you've got super talented, super chill guys, and a lot of athletes are like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're that talented, it's easy to kind of glide through some stuff. But then you saw last night, Jaylen Brown played like a house of fire because he thought he got pimped out of being one of the all NBA teams.
Right. And it motivate, people. You always find your motivation however you can.
And he may have had a lot of players have huge bonuses attached to making one of those three teams.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of money involved with, like you said, being named to these certain all-NBA teams or all defensive teams or whatever. And like you said, it's a line item in their contract that you get like $1 million bonus if you're named.
Oh, it's not $1 million bonus. Ant-Man, Anthony, what's his last? Not Thomas.
Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, who is a new budding superstar. A lot of people are throwing comparisons to Michael Jordan at him.
Yes.
And it's certainly not the Michael Jordan that ended up winning 5 NBA championships in a row, but a Jordan like when he first started playing for the Bulls when he couldn't get past the Pistons. He was still the biggest star in the league, but he wasn't winning. I mean, he's scoring and playing defense and just – so Anthony Edwards, known as the Ant-Man, made the second team All-NBA, got a $40 million bonus spread over 5 years.
Really? Oh, it's that.
So it's not $1 million, Rich.
40.
And I know
that's a big difference.
Yeah, you think?
That's a big difference.
That's why I had to correct you.
No. Because I didn't know exactly what it was. I knew it was at least $1 million, but $40 million.
$40 million spread over 5 years.
And is that voted on by media members, or how is that determined?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's a media thing. So, Jaylen Brown was none too happy, and he took it out on the Pacers, and then the Pacers, Therese Halliburton, who's their best player, left the game with a hamstring, and if he doesn't return, they're in trouble.
They're in big trouble.
Yeah.
No question about it. Yeah.
And it looks like, and if that's the case again, like the Celtics have had this pathway tailor-made for them.
No question.
Even with a starter of Kristaps Porzingis' talent out of the lineup, every other team that the Lakers or the Celtics have faced in the playoffs have been decimated by injuries.
They have, exactly, like you said.
I mean, they played Miami and without Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
The Knicks got bounced out probably because they just didn't have anybody left to
ran
play.
Out of people.
Oh yeah.
They ran out of people. I mean, legitimately, it was a great story. Of course, all of New York loved it, but they had a good run.
Yeah. And we'll see if they can stay healthy, and if they get one other superstar, the Knicks could be a team to really watch for. Look at even Milwaukee and Philadelphia, and Embiid was hurt. And Atatuka Kumbo, the Greek Freak, didn't play in the playoffs. And so the Celtics had better win this NBA championship, or it's going to be.
Oh, it would not be good in Boston.
No, it won't be good in Boston.
Because these Celtics do not remind you of anything
No.
of the killer instinct.
There's
of
no
the
Larry Bird, Danny Ainge bites your kneecap off.
Right.
I think Dan Campbell actually stole that from Danny Ainge.
I think so too. No, there is no semblance of recognition between that team and this team.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, none.
And you're talking about the team that's won the most NBA championships in history.
And ESPN the other day had a question, the team with the most Eastern Conference Finals appearances since 70, 71 or something like that, after Boston, of course. And it was the Pistons.
Yeah.
That was a great little nugget there.
Yeah, we would love, the Pistons are so far away from being even competitive that it's depressing.
It is.
And obviously that's probably the pall of all the Northern Michigan professional basketball fans. It's like,
again,
I loved it. I loved the NBA when the Bad Boys were great. Okay, well,
that's been a while.
This just did. But I'm enjoying. I can't wait to watch the game tonight between Dallas and Minnesota, and I guarantee you that you, casual sports fan, will enjoy that game. Luka Doncic is one of the great. They're two of the best players in the NBA are facing off against each other, and Kyrie Irving is playing some really good. He has changed like he's a human being.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see the interview with him with the Barkley and those guys after the game?
Oh, I didn't know.
So he came. Actually, they brought him up.
Oh, okay.
So the TNT crew was in the stadium in Minneapolis, like on the third tier.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And this is Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley. If you don't even watch the NBA, watching the Charles Barkley Shaquille O'Neal act is
highly entertaining.
It's really good.
It is
and now they got Draymond Green in there.
They do, yeah.
It's a good and it's going away.
That's what I heard.
NBC, TNT doesn't have any NBA next year.
That is, they put all their money in the bucket of what is it, college playoff, I guess, or something.
I don't know
like
what
that.
the hell happened here, but
it's just brutal.
So it'll be interesting to see. Barkley will end up somewhere. I mean, he is the biggest asset TNT has.
No question.
Anyways,
not afraid to say anything.
Anyways, long story short, and he gets away with it.
He does.
I don't know how, but he gets away with it.
He jumped on the bandwagon of Caitlin Clark the other day. The WNBA people that are complaining about Caitlin Clark, you're foolish. You're getting charter flights now. All of this is because of the attention that Caitlin
Clark has brought to the.
And then now he's getting pushback from some WNBA players.
Well, go ahead. Good luck with that.
Good luck. Yeah, it's just like wow. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Anyways, they brought Kyrie Irving up after the game because he had a fantastic game on Wednesday night, and he's just a different guy. He has, a lot of people had a lot of problems with him when he was in Brooklyn, and he wouldn't play during COVID, and he had all those spousing things like the earth was flat.
Yeah, he just goes on these weird tangents.
And the guy went to Duke. Yeah. I mean, I don't care if he's a jock or not. They don't just hand out scholarships to Duke. Hey, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, exactly. No, I wasn't getting in.
No. But, he was just – he's changed as a human, as a player, and he and Doncic are a force. And it's good to see. I love it, and that series is probably going to go 7 games.
I didn't think when those two got paired up together, I didn't think it was going to work. 2 ball dominant guys, this that, but it works really well. They're both really giving up a little bit and taking turns of bringing the ball up or being the guy, and it's worked out where. And you're seeing Luka play some defense now.
Luka played some really good defense. It's Kyrie's playing defense like he couldn't spell defense if you gave him the D.
Exactly. Yeah. It's compelling for sure.
Yeah, I'm just give it a shot, folks. You're going to see some intensity, and it's not like that people say, "Oh, they only play in the fourth quarter." These guys are putting it all on the line from Jump Street.
Yeah, I mean, Luka's hurt, but he's playing.
He's playing.
Yeah. He's playing well.
When we come back here on Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio, we'll discuss the NHL playoffs, which I know a lot of people. We know how hard they play in the NHL. We'll be back after these words from our fine partners on Up North Sports Radio.
Sports on the Michigan News Network.
The Tigers in a tough spot in the middle of a 5-game losing skid, and although the team is now double-digit games behind in the division, manager A.J. Hinch says he still believes in how they're managing their build.
I love the plan that we have going into every night. I think we work hard to get everybody understands it, and and then you have to go out and execute it. And I think at this level, it gets tougher and tougher the more that you bring some of the frustrations into the game and lack of hits.
Detroit will host 3 more games against the Blue Jays tonight through Sunday. It's a critical home game for the Griffins as they host the Admirals again, but will be knocked out of the Central Finals if they don't come away with a win in Grand Rapids. Face-off is set for 7 o'clock. They'll play again on Sunday night if they extend the series. Michigan baseball also win or go home after losing a game in the double elimination Big Ten tournament. They get Illinois tonight in Omaha at 8. And golf at Benton Harbor will continue through the weekend. The Senior PGA Championship playing on the west edge of the state right near the coast of Lake Michigan. Chris Villar, Michigan News Network.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
If you're a homeowner 62 or older and would like to find out if a reverse mortgage could give you a more secure, comfortable retirement, call Kristen Alderman with the Reverse Mortgage Center in Gaylord, 989-858-0565. Come to a free question and answer session at the Gaylord Library, Thursday, May 30th from 2 to 4. Call Reverse Mortgage Center to RSVP 989-858-0565, NMLS number 2572985 and 2069141. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Welcome. Why can't I hear? Hello. Welcome back to Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio. It's time to hang out at Shanty Creek. I got Lindsay Southwell on the phone. Lindsay, Memorial Day weekend, great weather, just the perfect time to get out on the golf course.
Yeah, a 3-day weekend, that means 3 days of golf.
Well, especially with the discount that you have going on until the end of the month.
Yeah, so we have 25% off all of our tee times here at the resort. So Cedar River, Hawkeye, Legend, 25% off through the end of the month. So if you can't even make it during the weekend, but you can sometime midweek next week, a great opportunity.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As I told you on the phone, I ran into some guys, and we're going to either come out there Sunday afternoon or Monday and play Hawkeye. So I'm super excited. The courses... I can't say enough about them. I know we talk about them on the radio, so you can't see them, but how beautiful and playable Cedar River and the Legend and Hawkeye, all the courses are impeccably maintained. They're not too hard to play, but they certainly aren't easy.
Absolutely. And, you said you're playing Hawkeye. Hawkeye is one of my favorites, and I think it's just because it's like when you think of Northern Michigan golf, I think Hawkeye really embodies that.
Uh-huh.
You have the woods, you have the water, you have the rolling hills,
yep.
Lots of undulation, tee to green, and so I really would say come on out and play.
That's all we can see. We could beg, but it's...
Yeah. It's not beneath me.
I think especially, I'm sure the courses are very, very busy today. Talk about how you make reservations to play anytime, but especially this weekend.
So you can just hop online to scenicreek.com and book your tee times online. Or
they have a scheduler, right?
Yeah, and so those discounts are already there, so you're
Right.
going to see those discounts when you go and look online. Or you can just give us a jingle at our Tee Times hotline, which is 231-533-2020.
Are we having additional discounts when we play after 2 or 3, twilight rates yet, or how's
Yep.
okay?
Yep, we're in full swing. So yeah, our prices are very fluid, but they especially drop down, once you get into that late afternoon time frames on the courses. So if you want to play and you can have that flexibility to play a little later, I would definitely recommend it.
No doubt about it, considering it's staying late already till 9:30. So you can tee off at 3 o'clock and still get 18 in, no problem. And then get over to the prime rib buffet. Are we prime ribbing? Rich is like, he's held up a sign.
He's salivating. Are we prime ribbing? They start this weekend.
Yes,
so,
it starts this weekend.
All right.
Make sure you get extra horseradish. Rich was a little upset that you guys ran out of the horseradish last week.
I got to have the heads up. They didn't have the heads up he was coming.
Okay. All right. And then you've got a really cool golf event coming a little later on.
Yeah, so on July 22nd, mark your calendars, we're hosting the Michigan Turfgrass Scholarship Tournament.
Okay.
And that's a fundraiser that we're doing for Michigan State University, the Turfgrass program there. Obviously, it's something we're really passionate about because they make great quality courses happen, right?
Yeah, they do. We
want to support that
Yeah.
and the agricultural program there at Michigan State. So this is a fundraiser golf tournament for a scholarship for those students. So if you want to learn more, there's a lot more to learn. You can go to shantycreek.com and take a peek at that.
Yeah, I'm going to get Steve Schuerman on Finding Fairways a little later on. We'll have him back on and talk about this very briefly about that Michigan Turf, the grass scholarship. That was pretty much put together by a local here, Gordy LaFontaine, and has been instrumental in keeping that program going, and golf course superintendents couldn't do what they do without it.
Oh, absolutely. And Michigan State, they're very notable in that area. Michigan, we're very blessed with a lot of sand, which makes for great turf.
It sure does.
And great golfing on top of it.
Great golfing, and that golfing begins at shantycreek.com. Lindsay, I'll see you out there. I'm going to have my cigar and hopefully my first hole-in-one this weekend at Hawkeye.
Perfect. We'll see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, bye-bye. There you go, Rich.
Yeah, it's all set up, JC. Like you said, it's gonna be perfect weather this weekend. About 70 degrees. Beautiful, beautiful weather to be on the
Rich and I are like Batman and Robin on the golf course. I'm on the golf course. Rich is in the buffet line.
I am, exactly.
As long as we're talking about golf, a couple of things. When we were in here last Friday, we had that whole insane thing about Scotty Scheffler. I actually saw the video. I don't see the cop being dragged.
Yeah. Oh, I think these.
I love this. His pants, his $80 pants, were irretrievably harmed. This is what this guy, this prosecutor, is hanging his hat on him. My God.
Right. His attorney, Scotty Scheffler, he's surprised that things have not been dropped.
No, he said, no, I'm litigating. They go
he said, right.
They gave him some settlement offer, and he said no.
He said no.
Nope.
He is innocent because, according to Scotty Scheffler, he was told by another police officer to proceed.
No, but I saw the car coming in, and the officer, he's not dragged.
Yeah, right.
The police officer was not dragged by Scotty Scheffler's car. I don't know. What are they talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
I tend to be pro-police and this and that.
But
I
am
pro. This is a case, right, that is, it looks like there was a little addition in the report there of something. Because, again, I understand heightened anxiety.
Well, somebody's died, and it's still dark, and, I don't know if you – I don't want to – I'm just saying, Anywho, the rest of that PGA was incredible. I don't know if you watched it. Yes.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it.
Between Xander Schauffele, who ended up winning, and Bryson DeChambeau, and some of the bigger names in golf were in the hunt, and the golf course looked great.
Oh, yeah.
And it was exciting to see that. Unfortunately, the PGA Tour's got some issues with all the defections that have happened in LIV.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about that way more in depth on Finding Fairways, which will be on here tomorrow and Sunday at 9 o'clock. But and one of the interviews that I have in the show tomorrow, and you can also watch this on Up North Sports Radio. We have a whole video component. There's some lessons that we'll have in this week's show, so you should check that out. But Joshua Dockstader is the executive director at Harbor Shores Golf Club down in Benton Harbor.
Okay.
And the senior PGA is going on this week. So
that's the course that was a former dump site?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen.
I've played this golf course a couple of times. It's unbelievably cool. It is such a great golf course. But what I was leading up to, Rich, is the fact that, with some of the LIV defections and everything else, you don't see as many superstars on the PGA Tour. The seniors, all your favorite guys, Tom Lehman, Bernhard Langer, Freddie Couples, John Daly.
Right.
I mean, a laundry list, Mike Weir, Corey Pavin. And the cool thing about going to a senior tournament event is they are so fan-friendly. Like, you don't see PGA guys signed autographs, no doubt.
Right.
But you don't ever see them doing it during the round of golf.
Mm-hmm.
The seniors do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so much more casual. You got, guys smoking cigars and still playing super quality golf.
Yeah, a lot more accessible.
So you can drive down to Harbor Shores and get tickets to tomorrow. You could even do it today, or tomorrow or Sunday. And it's fantastic. The golf course is beautiful.
Right.
They have a lot of different ticketing options where food is included, and so if you're looking for something to do, it's a 2.5-hour drive from our area, depending on where you're listening, to get down to Harbor Shores, and I highly recommend it.
Nice little road trip and watch some great golf.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick break here, and then we'll talk about the Lions and the NHL playoffs. And a few more topics. I think we're done with the prime rib, though. We'll be back after these words from our fine partners on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Faceoff, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination, a place to breathe in the lapping waves of Torch Lake and explore the tree-lined trails of northern Michigan. A place to connect with nature and each other, one-on-one, in the waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. When you're looking to escape the everyday, breathe in the magic of northern Michigan at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
It's time to fly. Start your next comfortable, convenient journey from Northern Michigan's hometown airport, Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City. TVC makes your trip easier with affordable terminal-adjacent parking and all the friendly airport services without all the crowds. Fly from Cherry Capital Airport to your dream destination on Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United. Visit tvcairport.com and fly with TVC. Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City.
Hart Ford in Roscommon is home to the Sweetheart Deal. The Hart family has been the trusted Ford dealer of Northern Michigan since 1968. Right now, get amazing factory financing on a few remaining 2023 F-150s at only 1.9% for 72 months. And the 2024 Escapes and Edges are 2.9% for 72 months. The Edge has $1,000 back, too. Visit Hart Ford in Roscommon or 24/7 at hartfl.net. And you, too, can find out what a Sweetheart Deal truly is.
Do you know a Northern Michigan business or community leader making a positive impact? The nomination period is now open for our 4th annual Leaders of Northern Michigan publication. We'll celebrate those who have made a positive change for those around them and our community as a whole. Submit your nomination now for your nominee's chance to be honored in this annual Leaders of Northern Michigan publication. Nominate now through June 14th at record-eagle.com/NMI-leaders.
Surrounded by seas of fresh water, crisscrossed by rivers, thick forests filled with thousands of miles of trails. There are deer, bear, eagles, and cougars, maybe. Michigan is an encyclopedia of adventure, and right in the middle of it is Jay's Sporting Goods. At Jay's, you find exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. Plus sales and special events perfectly in tune with the seasons. Visit Jay's Sporting Goods in Clare and Galen, because adventure awaits.
Why do I feel like I'm talking to a duck, lizard, or emu going over my insurance policy? How many places do I have to call to make this make sense? The answer is one. One call to an independent insurance agency like Janssen Insurance is all you need. As an independent agent, we contract with multiple companies, so we can be sure to have the right option for you. Call Janssen Insurance at 989-348-6711 or send a quote request through JanssenInsurance.com. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back to Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport, TVC. Rich Calkins, Jerry Coyne. Rich, did you watch any of the NHL last night?
Oh, yeah. I stayed up and watched that double overtime rascal there with Edmonton and Dallas. And I tell you,
that's going to be a hell of a series.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. Dallas having that 4-minute power play.
Power play in the overtime. On a horrible call, really.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, I know as soon as you draw blood, that's pretty much it.
Yep.
But McDavid there was no way McDavid could not have hit that guy in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you could see.
And McDavid is in the box.
He's in the box. You take him off the ice.
The best player in hockey for 4 minutes in overtime, and Edmonton manages not to give up a goal.
Yeah. Dallas hit the post twice in that 4-minute power play, but they didn't put the biscuit in the basket.
You know, I'll tell you, it's one of the most interesting things in sports when you hear that puck rattle off the post, and the home, they're like, oh!
And just amongst 20,000 screaming fans, and you hear that clank.
Clank, and then you hear the collective groan.
Yes.
But great game. Even the Rangers, if you didn't see the Rangers game that happened, what was it, Wednesday night? They lost 3-0. You're like, oh, must not have been a hell of a hockey.
It was a good game.
It was really good game. The Panthers are for real.
They are.
Yeah. We had talked about this during the regular season, that they look to be.
Their physicality and the way they play, and
they have like a cookie cutter lineup. It's like every single guy is the same.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they don't seem to lose much from their first line to their third line.
Yeah, not at all.
They just kind of because they shorten up their benches in the playoffs, and guys that usually
but Florida doesn't. Florida runs 4 lines
and then keeps their guys fresh. Then
it's one of the things that would made the Wings great. You know, that fourth line when you had Maltby and McCarty and Draper.
Exactly.
There was no drop off. The Rangers are a little more top heavy than Florida, but man, that Florida goalie stood on his head in that 7-minute segment.
My gosh, it was
I'm like,
incredible.
how did they not score?
Talk
about groaning. The Rangers fans are like, oh,
yeah.
And it's a great time of year. Here we are in NHL.
Because I'm going between the basketball and the hockey all the time.
Well, I've got split. On
split screen.
Yeah. Multi-view they call it.
Nice, exactly.
Which is I got going for me.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Which is nice.
That's a Caddyshack reference, folks. And then we saw Dan Campbell has returned.
He has.
Without explanation.
Where he was or what he was
doing. Or whatever happened. And not poo-pooing any expectations.
Not at all.
Yeah, it is Super Bowl or bust for the Lions.
And I loved his response. He said, I don't see any bust. I see Super Bowl. And for him to say that, and that means with that comes a bunch of expectations then and pressure on the players. So he obviously feels these guys can handle it.
Well, I don't know what is going to happen with Jared Goff. He's played great. He the contract that he got, he deserves.
Yep.
But is that going to come with pressure?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. He's obviously, as we know, he's a pretty chill guy.
Yeah.
So it appears on the outside things don't bother him as much.
No.
But of course he is human, and the good news is Coach Campbell went out of his way to sing the praises of Jamison Williams.
Yeah.
And how the most improved player so far in the OTAs has been J-Mo. So yeah, we'll take it. That speed demon, if he really is working on his craft, that is a weapon we could use.
Yeah, no doubt about it, especially with losing
Reynolds.
Yeah, Craig Reynolds opting out of free agency. Really, the only player that we lost.
Yeah.
Who's the tackle that went to the Rams?
Jonah Jackson.
Jonah Jackson.
But then we filled him with a Pro Bowler in Zeitler.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, hopefully, it's so much of it is going to revolve around injuries.
It is.
And hopefully quick studies by the two defensive backs that we got in the draft. That would be helpful.
Oh, it would be.
And
and again, I brought it up before. You brought it up. The coaching that Terrion Arnold received at Alabama was by Nick Saban. That is
he's already crowing in.
That's his specialty. His defensive backs.
What did he say? They interviewed him. He goes like, Aaron Glenn's going to be I'm going to be his best friend.
Right.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, he wants to be a star. So how do you become a star? By absorbing everything, working your butt off, and
I'll take a Deion Sanders.
Oh heck yes, heck yeah! Shut down one half of the field like that would take.
I mean,
especially with today's every team has great receivers now. Every team.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just you don't play a single team and not face.
I don't know. I don't think Jacksonville does.
Yeah, right. There's maybe one exception out there. Of the 32 teams.
Yeah.
30
well,
teams.
But who knows about Buffalo, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keon Coleman is going to – the door is going to be open for that kid to have a really good year. I know Buffalo has two excellent tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have – that's going to be a running-based attack.
Yeah, which they've needed because they've ignored the running game for years.
Yeah, I mean, like Chase Claypool and who's the other kid the wide receiver that they got, the slot receiver who was great in Philadelphia but hasn't stayed healthy in years. I can't remember. They signed him too. So I don't know, but you're right. I mean, for the most part, every team has got two great wideouts and a really good tight end.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So again, to finally beef up the DBs, which we've needed, that's certainly a good offseason.
Yeah, Rich and I did. If you weren't here last week, we broke it down, and we all believe that the Lions are probably going to be 12-5 or 11-6. That's the way it looks to us.
And that's what I went and checked out our work, checked it against what other people thought, and a lot of the talking heads have thought the same thing. They expect the Lions to be an 11 or 12 win team this year.
Yeah, and so that a team that's that good is going to have Super Bowl expectations.
Right, and Pro Football Focus came out with their 25 players that under 25, top 25 under 25. Their number one player, Penei Sewell.
Really?
Number one. They got Aiden Hutchinson at 6.
Wow.
Amon-Ra St. Brown at 11. Sam Laporta at 19.
Wow.
And Jamar Gibbs at 21. So 5 Lions make their top 25.
Yeah, a lot of people talking about not a sophomore slump for Jamar Gibbs. People are looking at him as, maybe ascending to be the best running back in the league.
Yeah. Oh. They say his potential is unlimited, right? With his ability, his vision to go with that quickness and catching ability.
Knock on wood, but I mean, we could have had Bijan Robinson and in college before that draft, everybody would have said, like a lot of people didn't even know who Jamar Gibbs was.
Right, exactly. They're like, how could you draft him early in the first round? Well.
Kirk Herbstreit knew who he was.
They know, guys that were in the know.
Yeah,
they knew.
But he's again. Everybody stays reasonably healthy, or not any severe catastrophic injuries.
Yeah, exactly. I like the experience we have now at Jared Goff. at quarterbacks, played in a Super Bowl, has a lot more playoff experience than most of the quarterbacks we're facing.
He's been to a Super Bowl.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
You know, somebody pointed out to me, or maybe it wasn't somebody individually, but something that somebody just said offhand about Goff that I didn't really think about until he said it, was that he never really is hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a couple of games that he missed. I think he's missed like 4 games as a Lion.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah,
I can't recall
and only a few games as a Ram.
Okay.
He doesn't take a lot of sacks.
Right.
He knows how to get rid of the ball, and he's not ridiculously courageous.
Yeah.
You know, people like, oh, you know what? He can't scramble. Well, you know, scramblers get hurt.
They do. Scramblers mean you're running from something.
Yes. So, you know, this is a guy that is really smart with the ball. I mean, look at he went 14 games without throwing an interception. Now, I know he had a couple of two interception games last year. I think we won one and lost one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, you know, he stays healthy.
He does. Yeah, and we want to keep
again.
That
No
on
jinx.
Yes,
no.
Yeah, we're all knocking on wood.
But I already got guys calling me about the Lions radio package. So
is that right? Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
As
it's very exciting.
Entrepreneur, no, that's a beautiful thing.
So if you own a business and you want to be part of our advertising package for the Detroit Lions, you can call us here at the radio station, which is 989-348-6171, and we'll be happy to put you on the air with the Detroit Lions, the Super Bowl bound Detroit Lions.
And it's a great broadcast too.
Yeah,
it really
there's
is.
no doubt about it. Well, I'm not the hugest fan of Lomas, but I like TJ and
I do too. Yeah, and Miller.
Dan Miller.
Dan Miller.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, anything else?
Just want to, this weekend, canoe race out in New York, the General Clinton.
That's right.
The first of the triple header there. And, of course, good luck to Wes Dean out there.
Is Wes paddling with, he's got a new partner.
His partner retired, the Canadian, Steve Lajoie. And he's going to paddle.
Yeah, Wes told us that he thought that was going to happen.
Yes, and it has. He's not racing. Steve Lajoie is not.
He was 54. Lajoie is in his 50s.
I can't remember.
I think, he's in his 50s.
It was his final.
What a great career!
Oh,
I mean, how many wins does?
Like 12 or 13.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Champions. I mean,
no doubt about it. Yeah, that's cool.
Wes is going to paddle the General Clinton with Logan Minor, one of the Texans.
Oh,
the Texas brothers there, Logan and Kyle Minor. He's paddling with Logan out there, but he's paddling the canoe marathon here in Grayling with Ryan
Halstead.
Halstead, yes, thank you. Yeah, so that's
going to be a really good team.
Really good team.
Ryan's won one,
if I remember. Won one.
Yeah,
yes,
okay. Wes has won one.
Yep.
Where's Ryan? Is a local.
He's a local guy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yep.
So is he from Grayling?
Yeah, he grew up in Grayling.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that could, if they could manage to win, to have two guys from Grayling,
grew up in Grayling.
It'd been a long time. Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since Jeff Koka, you know.
Yeah.
But again, Jeff was winning those with Serge Corbin. But the two kids that grew up locally, I would have to go deep into the books there to find
we'd
out.
have to. That's another discussion for another day. But thanks for bringing us up to date.
Yeah.
We'll check in with Wes in the next couple of weeks. But it's going to be exciting. The weather turns, and of course, you cannot help but think of the canoe marathon. That's going to do us for us here on Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio. Like I said, all Tiger baseball games available right here for free. Tonight's game is at 6:40, and tomorrow and Sunday you can listen to Finding Fairways on Up North Sports Radio, or you can go to Up North Sports Radio on Facebook and watch that beginning at 9 o'clock, and then it's always there. Rich, how many shows have you watched?
Oh, I have watched a couple.
Oh, okay, good.
I check.
I thought I was catching.
I
thought I was.
No, I know you guys are gonna get the hook off the stage. No, I do pay attention to it. I check in.
Outstanding. Back to CBS Radio. Have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend, and remember the reason on Monday.
A game due to injury this postseason. So whether it's Kawhi, Giannis, Dame, Donovan Mitchell, I could go Zion, I could go on and on. We have seen a road for the Boston Celtics that has been much easier, smoother than any other team this postseason, and that's okay. It's okay to point out that they've had a easier road and not having to face a Jimmy Butler Miami Heat team, and not having to face three of their starters in that series, not just Jimmy Butler, but also this Indiana Pacers team that might lose Tyrese Halliburton going forward. It's the same story that we saw with Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen, and Karis LeVert even missed Game 5 in that series. So this isn't to say that the Boston Celtics are a fraudulent Eastern Conference finalist or a fraudulent, if it gets there, finalist. I think what it does mean is we can have two minds. We can say, yeah, they might be the favorite. They're the favorite. They are the deserving favorite to win it all. But let's not ignore all the injuries that their opponents have had, and also acknowledge they have no control over that. It's okay to point these things out without having to go on the deep end and say they're unqualified to be here, they deserve an asterisk, all this stuff. What we can say is they're the favorite. They also could go and win a title without having to face a fully loaded team. And you know what? Maybe that's just more commonplace. We have to come to grips with the fact that in today's NBA, with all the injuries in the league now, even with load management and with guys playing more in the regular season, we have to come to grips with the fact that it is going to be a war of attrition. And it's not necessarily the best team standing at the end. It's the team that had the fewest players sitting.
Tom Haberstroh, I have no issue. Life isn't fair. And the idea of asterisks to me is stupid. The Raptors won an NBA championship. The end. You want to talk about